Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Welcome to C2C Rankem, brought to you by Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I'm the host, Big B, along with my counterpart, the Prime Moose, Tim Hendricks. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Wife and the stepdaughter got into Paris okay at about a little after 1 this afternoon. They've already sent me pictures. One of the Eiffel Tower, one of the Champs-Élysées. Look like they're having fun.
That's good. Good for them. Hope they bring you back a lot of good goodies from Paris. But we're back. We're on Mondays now. If we have to, we'll switch a day, but I think Monday works best for our schedules. And today we got one of our famous lists, or one of our funnest lists. I shouldn't say famous because we haven't made nothing famous yet, but definitely one of our funnest lists. And every month we do at least 2 shows where we do birthdays. So it's August. Happy birthday to anybody with birthdays today or any part of the month of August. So let's get going. So August 1st, Tim, how many do you think we're going to get?
August 1st. Let me take a look at my list. I'm going to go with 3. I've got a couple curveballs. I think.
Okay.
I think you're. I mean, three's probably guessing at this point. Hopefully 3, but I can see 2, maybe 3.
I could see 2 solid ones, a third one possibility, a fourth one if we're lucky. I think
a fourth one. Oh, yeah. You've got a lot of hopes for us.
well, just knowing our backgrounds and stuff. I mean, like I said, the fourth one I think could be, a long shot. 3, I could go to 3. 2 we should have for sure. So I'll let you start on August 1st here.
August 1st. I honestly wouldn't have met this man if it wasn't for my father. And to be honest, he wanted to meet this man because he was on one of my dad's favorite shows at the time. He was all ready to let my brother and I go to this Comic-Con by ourselves. And then when I told him about this gentleman, a very nice gentleman, a guy I'd love to have a beer with if I got a chance to meet him again, I would. I'll be honest, there's a story out there that I'm the person that told this man that he was going to play Aquaman, and then turned around and went on what is that guy's name? Conan O'Brien, and said that there's a guy in Florida that thinks I'm going to be playing Aquaman. Don't tell him. And 2 weeks after, he became Aquaman, and that number 5. My number 5 seemed like it was my dad's best friend when they met, because they seemed like my dad was his football coach in high school, and it's really weird. And if he were a wrestler, he'd probably be part of the bloodline because he's very Samoan, very Hawaiian, and that's Jason Momoa.
You told him he was going to be Aquaman, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I did.
And he went on Conan and said that.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to have to try to find that Conan clip. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. My number 5, I'm going to go back. I think the TV show was in the mid 70s to early 80s, early 90s, somewhere that span. It was one of everybody's favorite TV families. She played Vanessa on the Cosby Show. I'm going to Tepitz Bledsoe is my number 5.
I saw that name. I saw that name.
I got a 6th one, but
I do
don't
too.
know.
I do too. And Tempest isn't my number 6. It's
All
weird. My number 6 has a type of relations to somebody else with another birthday on another day in our list.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, yeah.
You're number 4.
My number 4. The day that I can't remember the day this man, the day of the NFL draft. I couldn't believe it. This was the year that Ricky Williams was getting drafted, and I'm thinking, okay. And most people know that I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan, and Indy thought it was wise that they should trade away Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
I literally thought I think my dad had me on suicide watch for like up until the Indianapolis Colts pick at number 5 that year. As we all know, Marshall Faulk is a Hall of Famer for both of his times in St. Louis and in Indianapolis. And then what do? We turn around. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to draft Ricky Williams. We didn't even draft Ricky Williams, and I thought that was really weird. Instead, we draft another Hall of Famer who went to the U, went by the nickname of the Edge, and that's Edgerrin James.
Yep. Nope. Well, we'll start it off. 2 picks in. C2C Rankem wouldn't be C2C Rankem if we didn't snipe him. And, yep, I got Edgerrin James as number 4. I saw the name and I thought I would be the first one to snipe your pick. I figured, so I'm kind of interested to see what your top 3 are. But, yeah, I know you're a Colts fan, and, you know, you go from, like you say, you go from Falk to James, didn't miss a beat, 2 Hall of Fame running backs, you know, along with the Hall of Fame quarterback back there. So, yeah, Edgerrin James, my number 4. Your number 3.
My number 3 is one half of the greatest tag team champions of all time. I don't care who's coming to argue with me. It could be Dragon Viper. It could be Adam. It could be Crispy. I don't care. I don't care. They were tag team champions in so many different promotions. It was stupid. It's crazy when you see his brother has an amazing podcast. If you ever give it a chance to listen to it, it's absolutely amazing. I believe he became a pastor after he got out of the wrestling business. I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong. To go and do what these guys did is amazing. And my number 3 is Devon Dudley.
Well, you know, we're gonna have to do a debate show, because that's the thing is, you know, no disrespect to Devon, but I mean, the one half of the greatest tag team. There's another tag team out there that definitely would be.
I've seen them both.
Yeah, but anyway, this my number 3. I'm going to get a chance to meet this weekend on August 13th at a local wrestling facility. At a local promotion. They're bringing this guy in, and it's half of the Dudley boys. It's Devon Dudley.
I'm like, who did I miss? I'm like, who did I miss?
Devon Dudley's going to be in town this weekend. As a matter of fact, if I didn't have plans Saturday, there's the same wrestling promotion is wrestling just miles away from my house, in Hastings, and they're going to have D'Lo Brown there. So there's a chance D'Lo Brown might be there Saturday, but definitely Devon Dudley is going to be there. But yeah, that is my number 3. And yes, we will debate because I feel LOD Road Warriors are the greatest.
Oh no! I completely agree. I agree. I saw LOD take on. Who in the world did I see LOD take on? The New Age Outlaw. I believe it was the New Age Outlaws. Yeah. Back when Sonny was the LOD, and
but the thing is, you're not wrong. You take LOD out of there, you're probably got Dudley's at the number 1 spot. So
yeah.
All right, you're number 2.
I don't know about you. I know I'm you know me as me being a little bit of a historian, this
Yep.
history buff when it comes to these lists.
Yep.
I know I saw they did a movie based on the book. No, they did what was considered the true story of what was behind this book, called I want to say The Heart of the Sea.
Yep.
It had Chris Hemsworth and Tom Holland. Amazing movie. But what the book is named is called Moby Dick.
Okay.
And Moby Dick, I know in America and the United States, it's kind of a rite of passage to read Moby Dick. And my number 2 is the author of Moby Dick, Herman Melville.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll be the first one to admit, and I'm probably going to get slammed, and somebody might send me the book. I have not read Moby Dick, and I'm not a book reader. So, all right. So my number 2, Tim. We go back. I think we have said where we met, nightclub in Iron Mountain, Michigan. So music to us kind of brought us together. And my number 2 passed away. I believe it was early last year or late last year, earlier this year. Had some great songs. Got upset when Weird Al made a version of his own song, took him to court, but then money talks and BS walks. And I do like, I'm not much of a rap guy, but I do like this guy. And that's Coolio at number 2. All right, I'm kind of interested to see what your number 1 is.
All right. When this, it's kind of, again, I'm going back to history.
Yep.
But funny thing is, history. The history. What this guy did caused controversy because of a little-known quarterback playing for the San Francisco 49ers called Colin Kaepernick, because he didn't want to stand for the national anthem. They play it, which is funny because if you think about it, only in the United States they play the national anthem before the beginning of any sporting event.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Well, my number 1 is the composer of the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, Francis Scott Key.
I missed that one. I did not see that one because I would have thrown that one up there. But my number 1, I had him up there because the guy looks cool. I don't know what else to say, but after hearing what you had to say about him, because he's your number 5, I'm glad I put him at number 1, and that's Jason Momoa. I mean, to be able to say that you're going to be something, the guy who went out on Conan O'Brien and said that somebody in Florida told him that he was going to play Aquaman. So who was your number 6? I just got curious.
All right. My number 6.
Because there's one guy we forgot.
We didn't. I didn't forget. Back in the day, back in the 70s and the 80s, Burt Reynolds seemed to go do these movies with like Cannonball Run 1 and Cannonball Run 2 and all these different things. But he always had a sidekick with him in the Cannonball movie. And my number 6 was Dom DeLuise.
Oh, okay. I had Jerry Garcia as my number 6.
I took him off the list because
but
I had to.
I would have really bumped off Vanessa if I would have saw Carmelo Hayes was on the list. I didn't see Carmelo Hayes.
I didn't see him either.
I know. I'm just looking through. I'm like, Carmelo Hayes. What? Boom. Yeah.
I didn't see it at all.
Yeah. So we got 3. I mean, back-to-back picks, and then flip-flopped our 5 and 1. So we're off to a decent start. So now we're going to move into 3 days ago, August 4th. So again, anybody that had birthdays August 4th, for some reason, I think I picked this date. No, I think you picked this date.
I think I can't remember. I don't have my
Yeah.
phone right here, but
Yeah.
yeah.
If I picked it for some reason. I can't remember who I picked it for.
I'll be honest. I have 7. I have 7 on this list,
Yeah, I had a few too.
and this is the date that is linked to my number 6.
Oh, okay. Oh no, your number 6 was who again?
Dom DeLuise.
Okay. So anyway, so let's get into our pick here. I'll start, but I think we're gonna have 3. I'm strong on 3.
I'm not. I'm 3's good. I think we could sweep. Honestly, I think we could sweep. I think we could sweep. It depends. It honestly depends on.
Well, I'm
if
trying
you,
to think who's related to Don DeLuise that would be
he's my number. He's my number 6. You don't have to worry about him.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to worry about him. But my number 7. My number 7 could be in your list somewhere.
Yeah, I could think if we sweep, because I think I have a curveball there. But anyway, so my number 5, again, we're wrestling fans, and this guy claims to have 100 or 1,000 holds or whatever. One of the great technical wrestlers back in the day for WCW, came to WWFE for a little bit. Now he's a trainer, promoter, producer. That's Dean Malenko at number 5.
I like that one.
All right, you're number 5.
I like that one a lot. I'm not going to get political because I'll be honest, I'm a Democrat and that makes a lot of people upset. But my number 5 is the first African American president. Everybody's still looking for his birth certificate, and people keep forgetting that Hawaii is a state. So without getting too political, I'm going to say my number 5 is Barack Obama.
Yeah, like you said, it could be very well debated issue. My number 4, pretty decent actor. I liked him in a few movies. He seems to play somewhat of the same character-ish. In his last couple movies, I've seen him in the remake of the Bad News Bears, which sucked, and then it was a Christmas movie. What am I thinking? Bad Santa.
Bad Santa.
And that's Billy Bob Thornton. I think he's a good actor. Just a couple movies just kind of went the wrong way, I think, for him. You're number 4.
Well, we're not sweeping.
Okay.
He's not even in my top 7. Believe me, I feel it. Don't worry. It's not C2C unless you snipe. And no, not Billy Bob Thornton. He's the original Radical, the man of 1,000 holds. I absolutely think he's in my opinion. See, I can say this now. Whatever I say is cool. In my opinion, probably one of the top 5 technical workers to ever wrestle, and that's Dean Malenko.
Yeah, I don't think you won't have any arguments for me on him being in the top 5. I mean, he definitely is. So we're at my number 3. Yeah, we're not C2C unless we snipe, and without getting politically in a debate here, the 44th president shows up 5th or 3rd on my list, and that's Barack Obama. You're number 3.
My number 3. Well, we have this little show on Sunday called Morning Tailgate. It's a football show.
Yep.
It would only be fitting that we have a running back on this list, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame. Honestly, I think he is. Be stupid if he's not. A former Jet, a former Washington Redskin. I think he was on our list in one of the games that we played on one of the games that we played this weekend. on our show. I think my brother loved watching this guy. My brother loved watching this guy play. My brother when my brother was in running back, he wanted to be this guy. My brother played running back in high school, but he also played free safety. My brother was a big Ronnie Lott fan, so that's why my brother wanted to play safety in high school. But when my brother watched John Riggins play, he absolutely loved watching John Riggins, and my number 3 is John Riggins.
Yeah, I don't think because I think we debated that, and I don't think Riggins is in the Hall of Fame. Which again, you're right, he should be. I mean, yeah, we're not sweeping. I didn't even see Riggins on the list, so good pull there. My number 2, again, go back to music. Probably one of the GOATs, Mount Rushmore, depending on what kind of genre of music you're talking about, but I think a lot of people know his stuff, and that's Louis Armstrong at number 2. Your number 2.
I like that. I like that number 2. My number 2, probably the best. We don't talk much for hockey in our shows on this network, as we'd like to call it. Probably the most famous Montreal Canadien. Probably the greatest player to ever play in on that team. If it weren't for, to be honest, if it weren't for Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky, probably the best hockey player to ever play, next to Bobby Orr maybe, and that's Maurice Richard.
Yeah, I didn't even see that name on the list. Like you said, we don't talk much hockey, so it's like one of those things. Unless the name pops out at you, I don't see them. So, my number 1. I'm not much of the history buff here, but when you see this name on the list, if it pertains to the list, you definitely
oh good Lord, what did I miss?
You definitely put this person on the list.
What did I miss?
This lady passed away March 30th, 2002. She was Elizabeth the Queen.
What did I?
Yeah, the wife of Henry George the Sixth, I think it is. I don't know my Roman numerals, but yeah, she passed away on March 30th, 2002. Elizabeth the Queen, the mother.
Yeah, the Queen Mother, the one just before this last one. Yeah.
Yep.
I saw. I'll be honest, I saw that one. I didn't miss it. I just, I didn't.
All right, you're number 1.
It's not C2C unless we're sniping. You put him at number 2. I put him at number 1. I saw Louis Armstrong and went, yeah. If you don't put somebody that's that instrumental in so many careers so early, it's crazy you don't put him on the list.
Yep. And I'm gonna guess we both missed it. I didn't even see him.
No, he's my number 7. I'll guarantee you I already know who you're looking at.
Who?
Jeff Gordon.
Yep.
He's my number 7. Oh, and by the way, the person that's connected to August 1st and Dom DeLuise is his son, Michael DeLuise, who was on, which is funny because it kind of loops around because Michael DeLuise was on back in the day, early mid 80s, on a little show with Johnny Depp called 21 Jump Street.
Wow. Okay. All right. So let's move into August 7th. Today, anybody happy birthday? If you're watching, got a birthday today, August 7th, we're thinking of you, while we'll do this list. So these are the people you guys have shared birthdays with. This one's going to be tough, I think. I know I have one curveball, so we won't be sweeping unless magically you have the same curveball.
I have this feeling I might have taken your curveball off the list.
Oh, okay.
I
think we're going to go solid 3 again.
I think we're going to go. I think we could go 4.
Ooh, you're really. All right. Well, let's start it off. Let's see where we're sniping at. Number
All
5.
right. All right. I'm not quite positive, but four sounds like it could be done. My number 5, and the funny thing is, I'm trying to, and I noticed this because I did this list last night, and I noticed that I needed to do lists with more women on it. So I think, which is funny because I took Queen Victoria off my list for the last date. But I figure I'm looking at these lists. I'm going, holy smokes, we have very little women that are celebrities that have birthdays.
And that's the thing is, like for me, I go with the names that stick out, and you don't hear much about the women, and it's just like, if you catch a name, it's like, okay, where was that? I know that name, but
Right.
yeah, you're right. So,
my number 5 is an actress, so I kind of hinted at that one. She was my favorite movie that she's ever done. She did a little movie called The Devil's Advocate. She did a movie that started in Gainesville. My brother used to actually work in the bar that they filmed part of the movie in when they're in Gainesville.
okay.
But she did a little movie with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. But then she got famous. And then she decided to get an Oscar for playing a psychopathic woman in Florida named Eileen Wuornos, and she won an Oscar for that. And then she turned around and screwed up her life and decided to get into the Fast and Furious saga, which I don't know why anybody would do that anymore. But the funny little funny thing is, everybody thinks she's born in the United States, and she's not. She was born in South Africa, so technically, my number 5 is technically a African American.
All right.
But she's white. But my number 5 is Charlize Theron.
Yeah, I saw the name, and I'm kind of re-looking at the list, and I'm mad because I think I missed a couple that I should have not missed. But number 5, I'm kind of a curveball, unless you are really looking at list and want to get the obscure names out there. We don't know this guy, but we know his father, and the reason why we don't know this guy is because he died 3 days into his life, and that's the son of JFK, Patrick Kennedy.
Yeah, I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, I saw that one. It was one of the last ones on there, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta put this on there because
holy smokes, I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
is that your?
There's some other names out here that I'm looking through. It's like, yeah, we effed up if we don't get these. So I know I didn't. But. All right, go with your number 4.
I think we did when we did the what if episode. We talked about Pamela Anderson. No, Pamela Anderson's not born on the 7th. I'm going to break people's hearts now. Was that she was supposed to take the Gillian Anderson role in X-Files.
Yep.
It's funny because when you realize what my number 4 has done after that, it's just weird. But the thing is, he'll only and always be known for is X-Files, which is funny because I think next week him and his band are in Milano.
Oh, okay.
And I wouldn't have known that if my wife hadn't brought it up like 3 days ago. And she's talking like she wants to go.
Well, I guess you're going.
I guess I might be going. But she's an X-Files fan, so I can't really argue. But I didn't know he had a band, which is really weird because when you think of actors who have bands, you think of Kevin Bacon, you think of Gary Sinise. But do you think of David Duchovny?
No.
I did.
He's got a band. Wow.
Yep, and he's going to be in Milano.
that might be a topic we have to jot down. Celebrities that have a second job, maybe that we don't know of. So all right. So yeah, my curveball is number 4. You said we don't talk hockey enough. Again, there's a lot of sports we don't talk about, and for some reason, I don't know what it is with cricket, but I have a little fascination love for the game cricket. I don't know why.
We're not getting four.
I don't know why. But again, this name jumped out at me. Cricket Batman, Greg Chappell.
Oh my god! I saw,
Yeah.
and the weird thing is, I saw that name too, and I'm thinking, no.
Yeah, I don't know that like cricket and not shuffleboard, the Olympic. God, I can't even think of it. Curling are like the two sports I want to attend and actually try. I don't know why.
Okay, this is the weird thing. Is now I'm gonna bring something completely off topic. Did you? Okay, I want to say this was Saturday. Did you watch ESPN2 when they had the Ocho? Oh my Lord. Holy crap. They need to bring the Ocho completely back forever because they were showing cornhole. They were showing
yeah, who would ever thought cornhole would be on ESPN? I mean,
flick golf? Did you ever hear of a thing called flick golf?
Yeah, they got where they take the
Yeah,
that's a new thing.
I've never seen it. They had horseshoes.
Yeah.
Holy heck! I'm watching this, and
there's another topic: sports that we never thought would be on ESPN. I mean,
holy smokes! And I'm like, well, that's awesome.
All right, so, your number 3.
My number 3. We don't dig too much into state government.
No.
Specifically, Minnesota state government.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's famous. He's I don't know how popular he was in the Supreme Court in Minnesota. But he had a first job.
Yep.
And was one hell of a defensive lineman. Absolutely. I love watching this guy. I've watched enough old stuff on this guy. This guy is amazing. My number 3 is the Minnesota Viking by the name of Alan Page.
Yep. I think he would be a beast today.
Oh,
undersized, but I think the guy would just be a beast still. My number 3, we're gonna stick in the realm of football, but I'm gonna go with a couple QBs here. One that's on his way out of his team. Number 2 is a guy that's up and coming and was in the Super Bowl last year, and that's Kyler Murray of the Cardinals and Jalen Hurts business for the Eagles.
I took both of them off my list.
All right, we're not doing so hot here.
We're not even getting. I think we might get. I don't know. You put that cricket on there and you screwed me up.
I said I had a curveball. When you said that you might have stolen it, I'm like, well, what? So, number 2.
My number 2. I am a hockey fan. We brought up hockey once already.
Yep.
But I am a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. I love the Pittsburgh Penguins. And when we drafted this gentleman number 1 back in 2003, I want to say 2000. I might be completely wrong on the year. Don't fact check me. I know I'm probably wrong.
You're in the ballpark if you're not there.
What 2005, 2006, maybe something like that. Yeah. But he would have been further along in his career if he wasn't, as we in the NFL and wrestling like to call head cases because of concussions. He would have probably been a little further along than Alex Ovechkin. But I love to me, I think he's the second best player to ever play for the Penguins behind one Super Mario. And that's Sidney Crosby. Huge Penguins fan. Huge.
No, I didn't really know that. I didn't know that you're a big Penguin guy.
Because there's no hockey team in Wisconsin.
that is true. I'm just kind of curious. You said 2002?
I originally said 2000, 2003.
Yeah, 2005. I mean, you were in the ballpark. I knew you were around there. My number 2 is the first overall pick in 2005 NFL or NHL draft. That's Sid the Kid. And there could be debates on number 2 or number 3 for this guy because you got to forget Yager was there too. So
Yeah, there's a lot of arguments with that. With
I mean, Lemieux by far is the best Penguin, no doubt about it.
yeah, it's you got an argument with Yager, then you got arguments
with
with
injury. Now you got to debate at 1 or 2 for Sid the Kid. But
yeah, if
his
he
injuries, I mean,
yeah,
Yager's in the discussion. So yeah,
yeah,
I got number 2 as Sid the Kid. So you're number 1, which I'm kind of curious about.
It honestly makes me sick. To put a Yankee on the list absolutely makes me sick. Yep, I know.
What Yankee did I miss? It would have made me sick too. I wouldn't have put him number 1.
It's the only reason why he's number 1 on the list is what he did in the World Series.
Okay.
As being the only pitcher to throw a perfect game no-hitter in the World Series. And I honestly admit he's in the – and the thing is, if he played for any other team, I'd be a whole lot happier. Heck, my dad would have been a whole lot happier if he played for the Braves back in the 50s and the 60s. But my number 1 is Don Larson.
God, did not even see that name. And the thing is, I probably saw the name and it just didn't jump out at me. But there's another baseball guy we forgot we'll talk about. But my number 1 is your number 3. Got to do the homer pick. And that is one Alan Page. It's kind of troubling when you get in trouble for speeding. You're the attorney judge, or judge. But no, on the field, the guy was a beast. Was the anchor of the Purple People Eaters. Yeah. Today, I think he'd be undersized. He might be more of a linebacker nowadays, but back in his day, he was a defensive end. I still think he'd be a Hall of Fame guy.
Here's the funny thing is, I think it was right before I saw Alan Page, I saw my curveball that I took off the list, and another Minnesota person, another Minnesota man. I know PBS had this always used to have this show where he would sit on stage and tell stories. And the show was called the Lake Wobegon Tales. Okay. Tales from Lake Wobegon. He's from, I can't remember the name. I think it was Annoc, Minnesota.
Okay.
And I remember listening to him. I watched him, and I love watching him. And this would have been my curveball. Would have been Garrison Keillor.
You know who we forgot, and we both did?
No.
The guy they claim is the face of baseball right now. Well, who? Not now.
Who?
But
Mike Trout?
Mike Trout.
Trout was on that list?
Yeah. I just saw that name as I was scrolling through birthdays for, just a major list. I'm like, Trout, really? We missed that? There was a rapper too, a Marquise Hudson that we missed.
That's okay.
Yeah. So.
Wisconsin has no NHL teams.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was August 7th. We got 2. We got,
I was a little ambitious.
2, I guess. Yeah, I thought for sure you would have Hertz on there or somebody, but again, we missed Mike Trout. So, all right.
Yeah.
So we're going to August 8th. Birthday's tomorrow. So happy birthday, early birthday to people. This one I kind of had a hard time finding, so it's going to be interesting to see where we go with this. I'm going to go with the soft 2. I'll be surprised if we get more than that.
I'm looking at my list and I'm thinking we can get 3.
I had a hard time finding. I could see 3 if there's not too many curveballs out there, but like I said, I had a hard time pulling names out and ranking them. So, all right, so I start. This guy I think has mainly been in the wrestling business as a manager. He might have did some. I know he's done a match here or there, but I think maybe early in his career he fought more. Now he's been a commentator, I think, in TNA is mainly where I know this guy from. Head of the faction for Canada. I can't remember what they called themselves. But that's Scott Diamore from TNA.
I saw the name. That was the funny thing is I saw that name and I'm thinking, where do I know that guy from? That name sounds familiar, and then I can't remember it. He wasn't one of the Dudleys, was he? He wasn't like no.
Nope. I know there was like 20 different Dudleys, so
I know it was like it's a 3D. No, it's a 20. It's like 20D. No.
Yeah. All right, you're number 5.
My number 5. I don't know if you watched a lot of TV when you got out of when you got out of school. When we were younger, I want to say it was TBS loved to have the show on right as we were walking in the door of school. And we had it. TBS had it. It was the Dukes of Hazzard and Chips. Okay. I mean, I grew up on Dukes of Hazzard and Chips, and no, we're not going the Dukes of Hazzard way, and we're going one half the Chips way, and we're not going to go with Eric Estrada and Poncherello. We're going to go with Larry Wilcox, the guy who played Officer John.
Okay. I did not see that, but I did watch Chips growing up. I mean, so all right. My number 4 is 1/5 of one of the greatest groups in the 90s. I don't know if we call them greatest, but one of the boy bands of the 90s. They battled the Backstreet Boys and some of the other to get the fandom. And if you weren't with the Backstreet Boys, you were with NSYNC. And if you vice versa. And 1/5 of NSYNC is JC Chaz's birthday.
Nope. Didn't even. Holy hell! I didn't even see that name. That was weird. Yeah. But it's nice that you brought us into the music music business. So I think you kind of segued into my number 4.
Okay.
Which is weird because I think we've had this conversation. Back when I was a kid growing up, my parents loved listening to old country music, and his daughter became a country artist. But my number 4 was famous for having a stutter in country music. I love this guy's voice. This guy's got a great voice, but every time you put a microphone in front of him to talk, he stutters. And my number 4 is Mel Tillis.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I guess I didn't really think of him as a stutterer, though. But
he had a stutter. Oh my gosh, it was.
All right, number 3, we go into the football world. Possibly, arguably, one of the best offensive linemen to come around in their day. Him and his brother both, I think, might have the longest tenure in the NFL for linemen. Career starts. If it's not him, it's his brother. I can't think of his brother's name offhand. But
Clay?
What?
Clay?
Oh, that's right. He is part of the family. Okay. No. Before Clay Matthews, I'm going with NFL great guard center. I think he played for the Titans most of his career, and that's Bruce Matthews.
Yeah, his brother was Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews, the quarterback, the linebacker for the Packers.
Yep.
His dad played for the Browns.
Okay, so it's they got a good genes there, I guess. So, all right, you're number 3.
You're probably right on the soft 2 at this point. Wow, I was shocked. I figured. Wow. Yeah, I saw that one.
Okay, who did I miss?
My number 3. We don't talk. We've already brought up. We don't talk about. We're going to talk about another sport we don't talk about later too. We don't talk about cricket. We don't talk about hockey.
Yep.
But I'm going to bring one I don't think we've ever brought up, and that's tennis.
Okay.
To me, probably this generation, one of this generation's greatest tennis players. Probably ranks. I wouldn't be too surprised if you put him on the Mount Rushmore because of what he's done and how many Grand Slams he's won.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this wasn't going to be my curveball. I guess the last three have been curveballs at this point. My number 3 is Roger Federer. Okay.
My number 2, we're going to go in the acting world. Again, a guy that, some probably think he's the greatest actor around. He's pretty good. I mean, he's had some funny bits. We don't talk about Bruno.
Who's Bruno?
Okay. Anyway, so the guy, when he's in his funny role, he can do serious roles, but I think he's more fond of I think he's better when he does comedic roles and funny. And he was the parent in, oh God, I can't think of the 2 movies now. Meet My Parents. Meet the Parents number 2 or Meet the Fockers in number 2, I think was the second one. But that's Dustin Hoffman.
Like that one.
All right.
I saw that one.
All right. So if you don't have anybody at number 2, we don't get 2. So, all right, who's your number 2?
I'm going into college basketball.
Oh, we don't get 2.
I've got the guy that, if I'm not mistaken, coached the last undefeated college basketball team to win a championship at UNLV.
Okay.
Wish he kind of wish that carried on to when he went to Fresno State. But probably got one of the greatest nicknames in college basketball as a coach, called the Shark. He's actually the reason why I like to carry a towel around with me everywhere I seem to go. And that's Jerry Tarkanian.
Yeah, I didn't see that name. All right, my number 1. I guess the only one we're going to go 1 for in this and get the same one, and you sniped him at number 3. Like you said, probably this generation's GOAT of tennis. But that's Roger Federer. The guy's done everything in tennis. So, all right, you're number 1.
My number 1 at this point is a huge curveball.
Yeah.
Has to be a huge curveball. I remember this man he's an actor. Don't worry, he's an actor. So
Right.
I'll give you a little hope. He's an actor that played opposite Robin Williams in a movie called Hook. He was, what else was he in? He played in this little movie opposite Tom Cruise in Rain Man. But I think his best role is when he dressed up as a woman in a little movie from 1981 called Tootsie. My number 1 is your number 2, Dustin Hoffman.
All right. So we did end up 2. I don't remember. In Hook, who did he play in Hook?
Captain Hook.
Wow, that was Dustin Hoffman? Wow. God, I've seen that movie so many times. I guess I didn't realize it was Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, and then he played Raymond. He played the Rayman in Rain Man, and then he.
Well, yeah. When you said Rayman, I'm like, well, who the hell did he play in Hook? Because that's Dustin Hoffman. Well,
I was trying to go with stuff that you can. I'm thinking, okay.
Well, you threw me off at Hook, and I'm just like, okay.
When you didn't have it at Hook, I went, holy heck! Now I got to figure out a movie that he was in because you stole my Meet the Fockers one. I'm like, oh gosh, now.
I guess I'm gonna have to watch Hook again because I don't recognize him as Hook. I don't know, but a couple guys we missed here: Anthony Rizzo.
No, he was a Cub. I can forget him.
Yeah.
And he's a Yankee, so I can really forget him.
Yeah. Kumo D, we forgot him.
I saw that one.
I didn't even see the name on there. That's why I'm just like, well, yeah, I forgot about it because I didn't see the name on there. All right, so we got 2. So we're batting decent. I know this ain't one of our worst episodes, but it's definitely, it's our average. I mean,
wait. I have this feeling August 13th is gonna suck.
yeah, August 13th was another one too.
We could have done a whole show on August 14th.
Yeah. So August 13th, I know
you picked it.
I picked it because it's my niece's birthday. So happy birthday early to Nicole. Nikki, as Tim will know her as. So, all right. So you think this is gonna be a tough one? Which way are we going?
1.
What? 1?
1.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 1, maybe 2. Maybe 2.
I was thinking 2, possibly 3, but you're going 1.
Holy smokes.
I'll go with 2. Let's see where we got, because I know we're not going to sweep, and we probably won't get 4 because I have a curveball and maybe 2. So, all right, kick it off.
I've got a curveball at 4. That's the weird thing.
Okay.
My number 5. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if we've ever had this conversation if you've watched the Marvel movies.
I dabbled in them. I mean,
but if we were to bring in Jackson would probably know a little better than you.
Probably.
That's cool and that's great. Did you ever watch the movie? We'll still go with Marvel. But did you ever see Captain America: Winter Soldier?
No.
Well, then you're not getting this at all. But he's the guy with the silver arm, and
okay.
He was the best friend of Captain America. Okay. That's their synopsis of any Marvel movie right now. So we're not going to go dig into that. Maybe later. Maybe I'll show up on Callan's Marvel Marvel podcast and we'll have a discussion. But my number 5 played Tommy Lee in the Tommy and Pam movie TV series that they had for. I think it was on. Weird thing was it was on Disney Plus in Italy. But my number 5 is a Romanian American called Sebastian Stan.
Sad thing is as I looked through the birthdays, I stopped at him to see who he was as you're speaking about him. I'm just like, oh, this is who he's talking about. And then once you said Tommy Lee, I'm like, yeah, he could pass for Tommy Lee. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how much he can pass for Tommy Lee, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. My number 5 in the NFL world. Felt sorry for this guy because if I recall, he's backed up and had to fill the shoes of a couple Hall of Famers. And definitely can't live up to that, unless you put up numbers like they did. But that's one Elvis Gerbach.
Oh. I think he backed up one of the same Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Kansas City too.
Oh yeah, I think he backed up Montana, and then I think he backed up Young.
He backed up Montana and Young in San Francisco.
Yep, and then I think he went to Kansas City, backed up Montana again.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking Steve DeBerg. I'm like, holy smokes.
Oh yeah, he's another one. All right, you're number 4.
My number 4.
The curveball was.
Here's my curveball. We don't talk about a lot of sports. It seems like this show we seem to be talking about sports a lot. But one of these sports that we rarely talk about is golf.
Yep.
And we never talk about women's golf. It's not that we're sexist. It's just that there's nobody famous that was born on this day. That's our views don't but the disclaimer. But to me, when I saw this name, and I remember her. I didn't watch her golf, but I remember hearing the stories about her from my dad. But my dad said he was the best woman golfer he's ever watched, and that's Betsy King.
All right. Well,
oh my gosh, really? You've got that curveball?
I actually added it with another curveball because that was the first curveball I had was on the male side of golf because I've heard the name. Of course, I'm not an avid golfer, but if you know golf, you've heard the names, and Betsy King was one of them. I also have Ben Hogan on, tied with them at number 4. So,
and this is how bad this is, and I should have put Ben Hogan on here. I should have put him on here.
I figured if you were going to go curveball, I figured it was going to be golf. I figured you would have been Ben Hogan.
And here's the funny thing is, and I tell the thing about my dad telling about Betsy King.
Yep.
This is the worst thing is my dad actually was on the golf team at Texas Christian.
Really?
In Fort Worth. And he told me about the one time that he actually caddied for a tournament in the Dallas area. You're not going to guess who. When my dad told me this, I'm like, you're lying and you're literally full of shit. And the person that he said, and my dad would watch this show, he would literally kill me. I'd be getting a phone call soon. Is your other number 4 Ben Hogan?
You have him at number 3?
No,
oh, you kept him off the list.
Okay. I kept him off.
Maybe your mom's watching and she'll call you.
My mom. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, so go to number 3.
My number 3. Have you ever watched the TV show Deadwood?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Seen bits and pieces of it, and you always, Wild Bill it was a Buffalo Bill or Wild Bill? I can never remember.
Anyway, Bill.
it was one of the Bills, and he had a Wild West show. Yep. It was Wild Bill. It was Wild Bill Hickok because he was killed in Deadwood. But he had this Wild West show, and part of his Wild West show was this quick draw female gunslinger, the best. And to this day, it's weird when people realize that this woman actually existed. It's crazy. And no, she's not the founder of Oakley Sunglasses. So if before anybody says, no, she founded Oakley Sunglasses. No.
My number would say that's on this network or was on this network.
I don't know. Some guy on keeping it real. But my number 3 is Annie Oakley.
Yeah. The sharpshooter who starred in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show.
I said Wild Bill.
I actually just pulled it up. Yeah.
Why is it every time that you're picking, I'm saying mine is, you just happen to go, dude, it's like the Wheel of Fortune.
I know. I'm just scrolling through. You said Oakley. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see. So, my number 3, we're going back in the wrestling world. He was a little scrawny guy.
Gilbert? I miss Gilbert?
He's wrestled pretty much all over the place. That's one, Matt Hasten, a.k.a. Spike Dudley.
Oh, my God. How did I miss Spike Dudley on Devon Dudley Day?
Because if you look on the same website we do, it goes by his real name as a professional wrestler. And I'm like, well, who is this? It ended up being Spike Dudley.
And the funny thing is, and the worst thing is, I looked up Scott D'Amore and didn't. Oh God.
Yeah, because I was kind of curious of who it was. Because typically they'll go by their wrestling name, and nope.
Yeah, because Devon Dudley, because Devon shows up as Devon.
Yep. So, all right, you're number 2.
My number 2. Okay, I feel bad. We're at 1. I'm happy at this point. Because I said 1, and I didn't think my curveball was going to be the one that hit.
Yep.
Back in the 50s and 60s, this man was one of the greatest thriller, suspense, mystery directors of movies of all time. You're going to shock that I'm going to put him at number 2. I love this, and my wife absolutely loves this man as a director. So I'm probably going to be seeing a lot more of his stuff. My number 2, and I think he had a TV show back in like the mid 70s. I want to say something where he like an hour long where he did mystery and thrillers and suspense TV shows. My number 2 is Alfred Hitchcock.
Yep. We're not C2C, especially if we snipe them right at the same pick. But yeah, if you're a mystery guy, thriller, I don't know. I mean, you would probably copy a lot of his work or put a lot of his emphasis into your work. Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock is definitely number 2. So, all right, I'm kind of curious on your number 1 because if you look at the list, you'd probably know who my number 1 is. So,
my number 1, I honestly, I thought of this guy, and to be honest, if it weren't for this guy, I don't think a lot of these lists exist.
Okay.
I have a huge curveball.
Yeah,
huge curveball. We don't watch Alfred Hitchcock. We don't watch Betsy King. We don't watch 99% of the people on our list if it isn't for this guy.
Okay.
I'll give you the name of this guy because it's not going to make a difference because it's unless you're looking right at him or he's your number 1. There's a man, I think he's Scottish if I'm not mistaken. His name is John Logie Baird.
Okay.
Nope, you don't have it.
No, I don't. But no, that's a good number 1. I mean,
but the thing he invented is what makes it even bigger.
Yep.
He is the inventor of the television.
Yep. You're right. We're not doing anything except we might be doing this on the radio, but you're not looking face to face. You're not, we don't have internet. We don't have TV shows, but yeah, good for him. I guess I scrolled over the list because the name didn't jump out at me, but I wish I would have paid more attention because, yeah, I would have had him on the list for sure. So, but my number 1 is going to be a homer pick. And if it wasn't for baseball, I think this guy would have had a phenomenal career singing.
Dave Winfield.
Yeah. But no, he was in the Major League Hall of Fame. He's in the Twins Hall of Fame. Like I said, I heard him sing during Kirby Puckett's memorial that they had at the Dome. And I tell you what, this guy brought the house down. And if it wasn't for baseball, I think we'd be talking about him as a singer. And that's Jim Mudcat Grant.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, go Google him singing It's a Wonderful Life, I think it is, or one of those songs. The guy just kills it. So
I'll have to look it up.
So August 13th, we got 2. The curveball hit this time. Wasn't much of a curveball. So all right, let's move on to the 14th, which Tim says that we could do a whole list on or a whole show.
I picked this date because, August 14th, there's a reason for the August 14th. Granted, it's next week, it's next Monday's show, but it's my sister's birthday.
All right. Well, happy birthday, Heather. We might have to do something. I didn't know your sister's birthday was August 13th. So
14th. I got 12 names on this list. That tells you how much I could have did on the 14th.
Yeah.
And there's 3 wrestlers on this list.
Oh, you know what? I think I saw them and I think I passed on them.
That's all right. They're not on my 5, so don't worry. You're not
I'm just trying to think of who they were now. I think I'll have to pull up the list. But anyways, so let's start August 14th, Miss Heather Hendricks' birthday. So my number 5, again, I got 2. Both ladies that, again, we've already talked about that. We don't spend that much time with the ladies because for me, they don't jump out, but these 2 definitely did. One, I've seen her a lot on TV shows, and I know, Tim, you had to. The other one, I'm not much of an opera person, but you got to give credit to the person that played in the Phantom of the Opera. And the one that played the Phantom of the Opera is Sarah Brightman.
Yeah.
And the TV actress I'm talking about is the one that plays Cindy on Brady Bunch, and that's Susan Olsen.
Holy heck, I didn't see that one. I saw the Sarah Brightman one, but I didn't see the.
Yeah. Oh, so that means I got curveball on you on that one. I figured you would have had. We're not done, so maybe you're throwing a curveball at me on the curveball. So, all right, you're number 5.
Number 5. I'm going for my number 5 is a Florida Gator.
Okay.
Kind of a homer pick, kind of not. End up being a minor league baseball player in the New York Mets system. Was originally drafted by the Denver Broncos. Led. I think he was the last one. It's funny because he ends up winning a playoff game to Demaryius Thomas by throwing a touchdown in overtime against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's crazy. Has a Heisman first person. If I'm not mistaken, the first Heisman Trophy winner is a sophomore. No. He didn't win it as a sophomore. He won it as a junior. I'm thinking that I'm going to say that's Johnny Manziel. Manziel won it as a sophomore. But as you can see him now on I think he's still doing Saturday night or Saturday college game day on Saturdays, ESPN. And that is the greatest Florida Gator of all time. Number 15 in your heart, number 15 in your program, number 1 in your hearts. One Timothy Tebow.
When was he a Gator?
2006 to I can't quite remember off the top of 2006, 2000.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. But he was on our last national championship team.
Yeah. Well, because I was just wondering if that tied into Joe Mauer, because Mauer had offers to go to the Gators. So I was wondering if that would have tied in.
I think the guy that was there at the same time was Pete Alonso.
Okay.
Around that.
Well, yeah. Well, of course, Mauer chose football
or not
football, but
not
he had offers to go to Florida.
I'm sorry, not Alonso, but Mike Zunino.
Okay. All right, my number 4. We'll go in the baseball world. Manager, Hall of Famer. I believe with the Cardinals.
Baltimore Orioles.
You're right, Orioles. That's what it was. Earl Weaver. So you must have him or had him on your list.
Yeah.
So you're number 4.
Yeah, Eric's right. It's 2006 to 2009.
So that would have been the time Mauer would have been possibly there.
Yeah, I that was the reason he was on because I know Cam played on the baseball team as well as he played on the football team. Cam Newton was there.
Yeah.
I can't remember, was David Eckstein there at the same time?
That could have been a heck of a Florida Gator team. All right.
Yeah, look at that look at that roster and see how scary it was.
Yeah. So
at one point, and McCutcheon at one point was supposed to play for the Florida Gators too. My number 4. Probably one of the. I love this guy. This guy as a comedian is absolutely one of the top 5 of all time. He's got a little series right now that he's doing with Martin Short called Murder in the Building. Absolutely fun, amazing. He's on. If I'm not mistaken, he's also on tour right now with Martin Short. Heck of a matter of fact, he won a Grammy for banjo playing. But my favorite movie, he's done movies with Michael Caine called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. He's done. I keep thinking that he did the Three Amigos, but he didn't. Because that was Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and who the hell else? I can't remember. That's don't at me because I know I'm wrong. But he also played his greatest role of all time is the Jerk. Back in the mid-'70s, and that's Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, I'm almost positive was the third amigo.
Was he?
I'm almost positive.
I can
All
never remember. Most people forget Martin Short, but they don't. But
That was your number 4. So we are on. I started. So my number 3. I put this guy on the list because of where I work at. He was there in concert. He drove by where I was working at, parking cars, rolled down his window, told us to have a great day. Thanks for what we're doing, and make sure we're hydrated because it's was a hot day out there. He came to concert with one Martin Short. I think their show is called Martin and Martin. I think, but that yes, it's Steve Martin. And I'm almost positive he was a third amigo. I could be wrong.
I can never remember. Who was your number 5? I just want to double check.
My 5 was Olsen and Bridgman.
Okay, the only one I didn't have.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're number 3.
It's not C2C unless we're sniping.
Yep.
And it's not Olsen and Brightman. But it's that feisty manager for the Baltimore Orioles. I don't care if you are a Cal Ripken Sr. fan. The best manager to ever manage the Baltimore Orioles is one Earl Weaver.
Yep. No, I totally get it. He was feisty. And yes, Steve Martin was he was lucky day in the Three Amigos. So all right, number 2. Today seems like a list of people we don't talk about, or genders we don't talk about, sports we don't talk about. And there's been a few times we've done a list of just female, so we get to talk about them. And today, or August 14th, would be the same birthday for one Holly Berry. Holly Berry is my number 2.
I saw that one.
All right.
I'll tell you where Halle Berry is on my list. Number 11.
Number 11. All right. All right. So you're number 2.
My number 2. You've watched Tombstone, right?
I've seen it. Yeah.
You've seen it. And one of the more famous lines that have ever come from the movie Tombstone is "I'll be your Huckleberry."
Yep.
I love this person as what he's done in his life. But we're not talking about Val Kilmer. We're not because Val Kilmer wasn't born on August 14th. He wasn't. But the character he played was on August 14th. And we're not talking about Doc Halladay that used to play for the Toronto Blue Jays and the Philadelphia Phillies. We're talking about the reason why he's called Doc Halladay is because of one Doc Holliday. That's my number 2.
The gambler, the dentist,
the guy that did everything.
Yeah. All right, so we're at number 1 for me. Again, I think this guy's done everything more or less after his career that we know him for. But he also had a good playing career in the NBA.
Don't scare me. Don't
probably one of the greatest teams. They were called Showtime because they did. To me, if I was a basketball player, point guard, shooting guard, I would definitely try to model my game after him because he had so many no-look passes that should never have been made. Part of the greatest dream team ever, and that's no doubt not debatable because no other dream teams like them. Probably top 10 greatest players of all time, depending on how you rank them. If he's outside your top 10, you better have a good argument, and that's one, Magic Johnson. So, all right, you're number 1.
I saw that one. That's a good one. I like that one.
Okay.
I like how you.
How well did you like it?
How well I like it? I liked it so much that I made it my number 1.
I was going to say, if you didn't have him at number 1, I want to know who this number 1 is.
and it didn't have him on my list at all. No, he's one of those guys. Considering what he's done, he's been such. He's like magic. He's like Michael Jordan. He became so much after he left. It's funny that what he's done. He's now part owner of the Washington Commanders,
Yeah.
who we hope and the ownership committee has come out and said that they are willing to go back to the Washington Redskins. I hope they do. But Magic Johnson, heck, think about it. Magic Johnson owned at one point a chain of movie theaters.
Yep.
He started up Majestic. He started up Majestic, a clothing line, a clothing business. He's done everything. He's and after everything, and it's like, yeah, and to have to be honest, one of the greatest rivalries, one-on-one rivalries in sports history, not just basketball history, but to have a rivalry start up in college, to go through all the way to the end, to even now where they're best friends. Yeah, you can't imagine. When I saw Magic Johnson, I'm going, I'm actually really jealous of my sister's birthday because it's got Magic Johnson. But yeah, Magic Johnson's my number one.
Yeah. All right. You got to tell me the 3 wrestlers we missed. I saw Kofi Kingston.
I didn't see Kofi Kingston.
Okay.
I got Bob Backlund.
Oh, wow. I missed that one on.
I've got Jim Cornette's favorite wrestler of all time, beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Wow. Okay.
And I've got Eddie Gilbert.
I saw Gilbert, and I almost had him on the list. I didn't realize Bob Backlund was born because I would have had him on there.
Yeah, he's a good Minnesota boy too, isn't he?
Detroit, I believe. There's Bobby Eaton. I see Bobby Eaton now. God, I kind of kick myself for not really look at this list. And there's Bob Backlund right there. Yep. And Princeton, Minnesota. So actually, I lived just miles away from where he lived at, but I think he's up in Duluth now. I think
he's up in Duluth now too.
Yeah.
And to answer Eric's question, yes, Mila's on my list. She's at number 12.
Oh, I missed her.
Yeah, I saw her. She was like number 12. Here's the funny thing is, here's how much I got Rusty Wallace at 8. I got Danielle Steele at 6.
What about I'm glad we didn't bring them up because I think it would have been a big debate. One Ed O'Bannon. Because the Bannon brothers are the ones that are starting this whole
the NIL thing. I think that screwed up 12. I think because of the NIL, it screwed up the Pac-12. So yeah, and it's funny. And it's funny that the Pac-12 guy, because he went to UCLA. Both the O'Bannon boys, Charles and Ed, both went to UCLA. Yeah. And
which I love them in UNLV. I love those guys. Or UCLA.
Well, yeah, they went to UCLA. I remember that.
I love those guys. But now what they're doing is just killing the sport. So
yeah.
Well, with that being said, we went overtime. We've been doing that lately, but we got to get the list to talk about. Again, Eric, if you got a list you want to see us break down, send it to Tim, send it to I. We definitely want to get ideas. I mean, we like picking our own categories, but we want to hear what you guys say. So with that being said, Tim, your final thoughts.
I love this. It's just like we like Brandon says, if you guys got a list, matter of fact, we could probably end up doing one of those lists of like one of those rank your top. I think we've had that list though, rank the top tag teams, but if you got a list, don't be afraid to put it in the comments. Get it to God. I can't speak today. What's up with that? Yeah, just let us know. Brandon will tell us what shows we are because for some reason my mind is just lost.
So today's Monday, so there's rumors we might have Kicking It again tonight. That's a kind of hit or miss.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can I be? Can somebody
there's
send
rumors
me?
thinking it might be coming on tonight.
Can somebody send me a link to that?
What's that?
Can somebody send me a link to that?
Oh, we can. I'll definitely, if we have it, I'll definitely let the guys know. Tuesday is
the wife is gone for a full week. I may stay up to watch this.
Oh, and we're not going to do Four Bros this week because they're on vacation. So
that's fair.
Yeah, but yeah. So Tuesday between the ropes, we'll break down SummerSlam with the guys. Wednesday is Sports Minute. Again, another show that we kind of been hit or miss on because of family obligations with everybody involved. Thursday is Creeping It Real, which Chris will set that up. And then Saturday, Sunday, we're back with On Deck and Morning Tailgate. Get ready for football season. Going to have break. This week we've got a lot of games to break down for football, even though it's preseason. But, hey, it's football. So, with that being said, Tim, thanks. Eric, I think you're the only one that really commented today. Again, you got the topics, send them out. We'll definitely try to do our best to break it down for you. With that being said, we'll see you next Monday on C2C Rankem. Have a good one.